is Trisha and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be using my air fryer and I'm going to be making some air fried macaroni and cheese balls. This is going to be the first time I do this and I hope it turns out right for you guys. So let's see what the ingredients are going to be. Alright everyone, the ingredients are very simple. It calls for some leftover macaroni and cheese, some panko breadcrumbs, 2 eggs, and some spray oil. I'm using olive oil. Now I didn't have any leftover macaroni and cheese, so I'm actually going to make some. So I've got some noodles that I've already cooked here. I have 12 ounces of noodles here. I'm probably not going to use it all, but I'm going to go ahead and make a whole thing of macaroni and cheese, and I'll have some leftover for some other occasion. I've got about 2 tablespoons of butter here, 8 ounces of some mild, 8 ounces of some mild cheddar cheese. I've also got some seasonings, and I'll explain why I have these seasonings. I am using panko breadcrumbs, and the ones that I like are the Italian flavored. You grab the ones that you want. So I'm going to go ahead and roll with that whole Italian flavor. So I'm going to add a little bit of salt, some pepper, and some ground garlic powder to it. And I'm also going to be using some sauce to dip them in. Oh, and I've also got this Italian seasoning. This has marjoram, basil, rosemary, thyme, oregano, some savory, and sage in it. So that's what I'm going to be using to flavor my macaroni and cheese, just so that it has all those flavors all over, not just on the panko breadcrumbs, which by the way, I love using panko breadcrumbs. Okay, so let's move all these ingredients out of the way so I can go ahead and start making my macaroni, because first I've got to shred up some cheese. All right, everyone, I'm going to recommend that you make your own macaroni and cheese recipe. I feel like mine needed some milk in it, and also it needed a lot more cheese than what I actually put into this. It needs to be really nice and creamy, so I can't stress that enough. Your macaroni needs to be nice and creamy. Okay, I just gone ahead and I've seasoned it the way that I want to. You season your macaroni and cheese if you're going to make it from scratch, or buy some already made. That would probably be the best deal. Okay, so I added lots of powder garlic. As you can see, it was flying everywhere. A tiny bit of salt, lots of pepper, and then I also added that Italian seasoning so that I can go ahead and have that flavor within the noodles as well. The block of cheese was an 8-ounce block of cheese that I shredded, and that only made 2 cups of shredded cheese, and I recommend maybe another cup. That was a 12 ounces of macaroni noodles, so I think this needs more, so probably a half of that block, maybe 12 ounces of cheese as well, maybe more. You really, I can't stress it enough. It needs to be a nice and creamy noodle. I went ahead and when I mixed it up, I then put it in the oven because my noodles were starting to cool off and I needed that cheese to melt. So I melted it in the oven for about 10 minutes or so, and then I went ahead and I spread it out a little bit so it would cool off just to the point where it was cool enough for me to touch it and form little balls. Let's go to the next step. I think it's good enough. I can touch it. Yep. I think it's manageable. So I'm going to take another baking sheet here and put some parchment paper on it. See if I can keep it from rolling back up. And then I'm just going to take some little, kind of like little bite-sized pieces like that. And I want to do this before the cheese gets like really hard and I can't take them apart. So I'm just going to lay them on my sheet here. Just make as many as I think will fit on the sheet, or as many as I think I'm going to want for tonight. And I really don't want too much. Now, of course, you can skip this whole part where I made the macaroni and just get some already made from someplace. Maybe even some frozen one to frost it a little bit. That way you can take it into your hands and make these little balls. I'm trying to get little bits that have plenty of cheese so they'll stay together. These are going to go into the freezer, you guys, and I believe at least an hour, so that they get kind of formed together and stay together. Okay, I'm going to put them a little bit closer so I can add more on here. I'm going to put this one on top. That way it'll freeze together. Now I'm probably going to have them in my freezer a little bit longer than just 1 hour, because I'm not ready to fry these up to have them for dinner yet. So I think they're going to be in there, let's see, maybe 2 hours. It's 3:30, so I think 5:30 would be a good time for me to fry these up, to put them in my air fryer. Okay, so I'm going to fill up this sheet, and then I'm going to put this in my freezer. The remainder of my macaroni and cheese, I'm going to go ahead and put it away and use it at a separate time. I'm actually going to taste this because I actually ended up putting more seasonings in there. That's perfect. Okay, you guys, I'll be back when that is ready to go into the freezer. All right, everyone, this is how many I decided to go ahead and shape and put on these two pans here. I'm going to go ahead and put these in the freezer. I don't know how well they're going to stick together. I know what I did wrong. I should have made a cheese sauce and then poured it over to make sure that it coated every single one of those macaroni. So make sure you do that instead. But I think this will work. We'll see. If you're watching this video, then it somehow worked. If not, it's going to make a delicious little crumbly ball. Okay, we're going to put this in the freezer, and we'll be back in about 2-3 hours. All right, everyone, the macaroni and cheese balls have been in the freezer almost a couple of hours, so I've gone ahead and pulled them out. They need at least an hour in the freezer, and I did check them. They were ready, but I wasn't ready to fry them because I want to have them nice and hot for dinner. So I'm going to go ahead and start following the next steps. I've taken 2 eggs and then just whisked them here with a fork in a little bowl. And I put some panko crumbs in this little bowl. So I'm just going to dip that into the egg and then into the panko crumbs. Okay. So I take one, and they're nice and frozen, so they're nice and stuck together. So I'm hoping this works. Here we go. You guys, I'm going to link down below where I got the recipe from originally, and you saw that I just made the little changes by making my own macaroni and cheese and seasoning it the way that I want. Of course, you make your macaroni and cheese the way you want, or buy some already made, because the recipe just says to get some leftover mac and cheese. But I'll go ahead and link it just in case there's something in that one that I may have missed and you want to follow along anyway. All right, I also have a recipe for black bean and corn salad, and that's going to be following the Friday after this. And my husband just wanted me to tell you guys that is his favorite, so just keep an eye out for that one. All right, you guys, I'm going to bread a few more of these, and then I'm going to go ahead and start putting them in the air fryer. I'm not sure how many will fit in my little basket. I'm thinking maybe 7 or 8 of them. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I will be back. All right, I've gone ahead and I breaded 8 of them because I think those will fit comfortably in my little basket without touching each other. I don't want to bread any more of these ahead of time because I don't want them to get soggy while they're sitting, because this will have to fry for 15 minutes at 390 degrees. So check those out. If I can fit more, I'll add a couple more in there. I'll turn this around. I'm just placing them in there like so. Okay, I think one more. That looks good. And then I'm going to spray these. Oh, by the way, in case you're curious, my air fryer is from Cook's Essentials, and I purchased mine through QVC. And I've got this misto can here for spraying my olive oil, so I've just filled it up with my olive oil. I got this from what is it, Bed Bath & Beyond, and I think I paid like $10 for it. And you just pump it up and it's ready to spray. So now we're going to spray these with olive oil. So that is what we'll air fry it. I think it needs a few more pumps here. Get some on there. There we go. Okay, now these are ready to go into the air fryer. Like I said, 390 degrees for 15 minutes. So let's get this temperature up. And then our time, 15 minutes. I'm gonna press start and let it go, and we shall be back to check those out. All right, everyone, I have finished making my macaroni and cheese balls, and there they are. I did the first batch as directed in the recipe, and I did 15 minutes at 390 degrees, and they came out a little bit too brown, and I tasted one and I felt it was a little too dry. But I'm gonna kind of blame it on myself because I feel like, well, I'm gonna blame it on myself because I feel like my macaroni and cheese was just not cheesy. It was just not moist enough. So make sure you get yourself a nice cheesy macaroni and cheese. And also, I think my air fryer probably varies from the one that was used for the recipe that I followed. And 15 minutes was a little bit too long, so I downed the time to 10 minutes, and I got a nicer, prettier, just golden nugget of a macaroni and cheese ball here. I really like that. I went ahead and I opened it up, and the cheese was running. It's now kind of dried up a little bit in the air because I've done some movement and waited till I recorded this, but this was a little bit nicer. The cheese was oozy and melty in there. It wasn't as much as I feel like I would have wanted it to be. So just go ahead and make those adjustments. But let's give this one a try because I already tried the other one, and like I said, it was a little dry. Let's try this one. I've got some sauce right here that I've warmed up. I have to say that's a whole lot better. This one was a little bit too crunchy, a little bit too dry. I ended up dipping it a lot more in marinara sauce. But I'm gonna try this without the sauce. It's quite good. The only thing like I said, that what I would change, if you follow this, is to get a nice, creamy, cheesy macaroni. And try your batches, maybe try it at a lower time than what it asks for, because you could always start it up again and put it in a few more minutes till you find the right timing for your air fryer. All right, everyone, I'm gonna give myself a big old thumbs up, not only because the second time it came out pretty good, but I at least gave it a try, and I'm not afraid to use my air fryer anymore. I want to see what else I can do with it. If you have any suggestions, let me know. And there we go. Make sure you leave a nice comment down below, and subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. And thank you to everyone who has been subscribing. Make sure you also hit that little notification bell, and if you're new, welcome to my channel. Make sure you subscribe. I put videos up every Tuesday and every Thursday, and once in a while I throw in a little vlog on a Saturday or a Sunday. All right, everyone, that's it. Make sure you share on your social medias, and as always, enjoy.